Let's dance, Seabass. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the We'll See You Later podcast, episode 68, brought to you by
Happy's Energy and Nutrition. The best energy and nutrition on this or any other planet. My name is Willie Ray.
And my name is Jeremy. Took a week off.
Oh, man. Like they said, though, the boys are back in town. Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, but that kind of rhymed.
It did. I'm
going
to let you keep going.
Haven't changed, had much to say. And naturally, when you take off for vacation, the most newsworthy week of the Arkansas football season takes place.
Of course.
Much like we prepared you guys for a couple of weeks ago, the Sam Pittman era in Arkansas has come to a close.
It has. Sad for the man, happy because we needed a shift.
Everybody who was watching, everybody who left that stadium, most early in the game, Arkansas had 76,000 people there at kickoff. It was actually the 10th largest crowd in stadium history. Really impressive that they got that many people out there for an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah.
Shows you how big the game was thought to have been. And then Arkansas gets rolled up, quits. Let's just call it what it is. Quits against Notre Dame. And everybody who left there, everybody who watched this game on TV, everybody, including Sam Pittman, knew what was coming after that. You've got to make a change, and you got to make it now.
Right.
And I was told it became clear to people who knew by Saturday night that this was where it was headed. And then we got notification promptly at noon on that Sunday that a move had been made. So after 5 seasons and some change, we closed the door on the Sam Pittman era. We did find out that he took less buyout. In return, Arkansas took away the requirements for mitigation, meaning like he would have to actively seek employment in order to receive the buyout. He took less buyout to take that away, which is basically his way of saying, I don't want to have to pursue employment. I'm retiring. So Sam Pittman retires and I would assume there's going to be a lot of old cold beer drink on Lake Hamilton.
Demand.
Yeah.
Enjoy that old cold beer, coach.
Yeah. I mean,
Cheap
everybody
asses.
understands Sam is universally liked, loved for the human being that he is. It was past time.
It was. Like, if you look at it as a Razorback fan of a human, it's just like Brett Bielema. We all loved him. We all wanted to be around him, but whenever it was time, it was time. And so for Sam, as much as I love him as the coach and the navigator of this team, that time was gone. But you can always get behind a guy who, one, bawled his eyes out when he got the job.
Yeah.
Was so filled with pride and just literally said, all I want to do is make this a proud damn state. You can't help but love the man. And then when he was rolling on that one good year, that huge year where we were 9-3,
yeah, you win all 4 trophy games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And he just turned that damn jukebox. It was so much fun. And I'm going to enjoy me a whole cold beer.
It was a lot of fun. I think we just ran into Sam's just too nice of a guy. I think that was his undoing here. I think he's just too nice of a guy. I think there was a lack of accountability, not on purpose, but I just think that he got caught up having to worry too much about roster overturn. Meaning you got to worry about players being disgruntled and leaving, and you're caught in a situation where you can't afford to recruit the high school ranks because he's on the hot seat for the last 2 years. And so we've got to recruit hard in the portal and find players that can make a difference now. So you end up overpaying for players that maybe don't live up to it. This defense certainly hasn't.
Yeah.
I'm of the thought that when he went 4-8 should have been the end of it.
Yeah.
But obviously the contract negotiations were not the best. Giving a guy a buyout that wasn't being pursued by anybody and wasn't going to go anywhere. Now that it's done, we look to the future. We've kind of gone back to the future because this Saturday, Arkansas will be led out onto the field by Robert Petrino. And this is wild.
It is wild.
And I'm thinking this is the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's a tough situation. I think it's a tough situation for any coach to win. Let's be clear. I think Tennessee could score 100 on this defense this week if they wanted to.
Me too.
I don't want to say he's being set up for failure, but I will say that it will take a damn near biblical miracle for him to win enough to keep this job. And I think it does a lot of things even if he doesn't become the permanent head coach, which I don't suspect he will. I think it does a lot to kind of heal the bad feelings and give the boosters who never let go of the Petrino thing what they want.
Right.
Whereas, like, we gave him a shot to win the job. He didn't. What I suspect to happen. Now, look, if he goes 6-1, give him the job.
If he goes 5-2,
yeah. If we become bowl eligible with this bunch, give him the job with zero buyout and a modest salary and load up on NIL. But that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Because Bobby has never been an ace recruiter ever.
No.
I don't mean to disparage the man, but he's really boring. Like, here, he's a football junkie and doesn't even really get excited about that. It's very analytical. Okay, well, his thing was always, I'm going to recruit these under-recruited guys that meet the measurables. Give me a 2 and a 3-star that have been under-recruited. And by the time that they play as juniors and seniors, they're going to be 4 and 5-star talent-wise. That's not the way this thing works anymore.
No.
So it's a long shot at best that he gets this job. Now we go to who's next if he doesn't get the job. I know the boosters are going to push hard. Like, the majority of them are going to push hard for Rhett Lashley.
Yeah.
Fit wise, I think it could work. He's not at the top of my list. I think there's just been some stuff that's concerning as far as like numbers for his offense and defense at SMU this year, coming off of the playoff run. I know they've had a lot of overturn, but he's supposedly set up NIL wise there at SMU. You think they would rebound a little bit better as far as like the numbers that they're giving up? He wouldn't be at the top of my list. The top of my list is the cat at Tulane, John Sumrall.
Mm-hmm.
Love that dude. If we hire John Sumrall, just know that I'm coming on this podcast and telling you we hit a home run.
Yeah.
He's a dog. I love this guy. He thinks he can win anywhere. He literally stood up there at the Tulane press conference and said, I'm speaking it into existence. We're going to win a conference championship. We're going to the playoff. And if we go to the playoff, we're winning the national championship. Okay. And, rebuilt Troy before he got there. Done nothing but win at Tulane. He's got an SEC footprint. He's from Alabama, played at Kentucky, coached at Ole Miss. The SEC stuff is there, and he reminds me of this could be your next Kirby Smart. I'm big on John Sumrall, and then my second choice would be Dan Mullen from UNLV, formerly of Florida and Mississippi State. Shown that he can win at a place where, frankly, nobody wins. I mean, he's the best coach Mississippi State's ever had. And there's this narrative going around that he fizzled out and he was bad at Florida. That's not true. The one year he won 8 at Florida, he won the East and went to the SEC championship. He had one bad year in the middle of all that COVID stuff, pissed off a couple of boosters, and then here we are.
Yeah.
Florida, as you can tell, is their expectations are ridiculous. Dan Mullen, by all accounts, is the third best coach that Florida's ever had. You could go 1 and 1A, Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, and then it's Dan Mullen. They do a lot of bitching about Billy Napier. Well, you ran off Dan Mullen to hire Billy Napier.
Yeah.
And I know former Arkansas assistant Barry Odom had a really good year at UNLV, and it got him the Purdue job.
Yeah.
But there was a complete roster overturn, and Dan Mullen took over at UNLV and has them rolling. They may sneak into the playoff. I would be fine with a Mullen hire but we're in a really good spot if the laziest hire you can make is Bobby Petrino. There's not going to be anything where you go, I can't believe we hired that guy.
Yeah.
We're in a really good spot. Credit has to be given to Pittman for that. We're in a much better spot than what we were before he took over.
Yeah. It's a desirable job. This is something, too, that people are like, who would want to come here? I had someone say that because I put out a post the other day of my dream team.
Yeah.
Which is Houston Nutt as the athletic director, Coach O as our D coordinator, and then the one John Gruden as our head coach.
Okay.
I love that dream team. Let me dream.
Right.
And this guy messaged me and was like, no one wants that job. And I just sent back, you're an idiot. Who doesn't want an SEC or a Big Ten job where the expectation is not national championship? It's 8 wins. It should be a standard. Competitive ball week in and week out. And you're playing in the best league in the country.
Yeah, the expectation is that nobody should want to play you.
Right.
That's the expectation, that everybody looks over and sees Arkansas on their schedule and says, "Oh shit, we gotta go to work."
Exactly. And I don't know where this narrative of no one wants that job. That's a coach's wet dream.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, are you kidding me?
You're like, the people who say that. Why don't you just go ahead and tell me you've only been watching football for the last like decade?
Bro.
It's not a program issue. It is an issue of a couple bad hires.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I go as far as to say only one bad hire, because Brett Bielema was not a bad hire when it was made. Brett Bielema got involved in some personal stuff here that it seems that he's overcome a little bit, which he's in a good spot at Illinois. Good for you. It just didn't work out here at the end. The Chad Morris hire, he was the worst coach in the history of college football. That's where you're at. And he got fired. Like, when you take into account what had to happen for Sam Pittman to be fired midseason in year 6, think about how bad this ass clown had to be to get fired midseason in year 2. The worst coach in the history of college football. It was not the program. It was just a bad hire.
Yeah.
And Chad Morris made this an undesirable job immediately after, because nobody wanted to follow that, because every time they turned on the TV, Arkansas looked like a joke.
They were a joke.
Because of Chad Morris.
We were fighting against Western Kentucky.
Sam Pittman took this job and has kind of been that Mike Anderson bridge. For those of you that are listening outside of Arkansas, you may not get that reference, but Arkansas coach Mike Anderson was kind of a hometown hire and brought him back kind of the way they did Sam Pittman, and he leveled things back out after the disaster that was the end of the John Pelfrey era. So now you need the Eric Musselman guy. Next step up.
Yeah.
Next step up. And that could be.
I think, too, people on the Pittman thing is, instead of giving him a hard time, never being a head coach, going through a global pandemic, coming through, and you're now your first job ever as a college coach, that you've been a college coach and around it, you now have to pay your players. He had to figure out all of it.
Yeah, he got hit with COVID. He got hit with NIL, and he got hit with the transfer portal, all in like the first 3 years.
Right.
And then,
and just couldn't figure it out.
They just now got to the point where they hired a GM to do that job. So for the last 2 or 3 years, he's been doing
all of it.
That job, that's not what he signed up for.
No. And then that's why everybody's like, he don't even know what's going on. He don't have a headset on to call an offensive play, because he gives it to his coordinators. And I think that's truly why whenever he comes to the table and everybody says something, he's, I don't know, man. It's because he wasn't involved.
Yeah, well, let's be clear.
Which sucks.
I don't like that either.
I don't either.
I don't like that either.
But the trust that he had in that coordinating situation, I think, was a little too much.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody thought when Sam Pittman got hired we'd be talking about a year 6.
No.
I don't think anybody thought that. That falls on the athletic director. The athletic director held on to him for too long.
It reminds me of our high school, Will. When we got there, we went 1-9 our sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then turned around and had to go 7-4 our senior year. Then from there, they've never missed the playoffs.
Yeah, which was unheard of, to go 1-9 where we were.
Yeah.
We had a very, 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 very archaic offensive system and defensive system, but the program won.
Yeah.
We rebuilt it up to where it was respectable, and where the players knew how to. That locker room our sophomore year was the most toxic room I've ever been in. We built it up to where it was team above everything, and I know when I look at the fact that they haven't missed the playoffs since we graduated, I know we did that.
Yeah, we were the first.
I know we did that. I know that we had something to do with that. Now, Sam Pittman, one day in the future, will be brought back to the University of Arkansas when we're in a much better spot. And I believe he will get cheered. I believe people will look back on that and say, hey, coach, thanks. You gave us all you could give us. But it was time. And
He knew it too.
he swam further than anybody ever thought he'd get, ended up in some really deep waters. And I hate that it ended with, the stadium chanting that he had to be fired. I hate that it ended with his wife crying in the back of the press conference. I hate that it ended with him, fighting back emotion himself, saying, I'm mad at me too. It was time. Nobody disputes that. And that's why the coach took less buyout and just said, I'm retiring.
He's going to have the same effect as a Bobby P, like with the fan base.
Yeah, there's
the acceptance back.
There's no reason to ever feel sorry for Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman is getting a pretty hefty buyout to lose his job. Sam Pittman had a career where he was universally loved as a recruiter and as an offensive line coach, and was everybody's favorite position coach. And then the one time he gets a head coaching job, it's in the SEC at a school that he grew up rooting for. Like Sam
job.
Yeah, Sam Pittman lived his dream out. There's no reason to feel bad for Sam Pittman. Now, as Arkansas, where do you go? What I hope happens, regardless of who the hire is, Arkansas and the big money people have to understand this is your opportunity. Get on the same page, and whoever it is, get behind them and let's roll.
Right.
Because Arkansas, regardless of what the booger eaters tell you, Arkansas is a lot closer than people want to admit to. It can turn around quick. And when you watch the SEC these days, this league is wide open.
Yeah.
So why can't it happen where it turns around real quick? A right solid hire, and everybody says, all right, here's a war chest. Go get us a team. You're in a good position to do it.
Do you think that happens with this new hire if we keep Hunter Yurachek? Because to me, I think that the reason why the big money hasn't splashed like we think it is, and it should, because we've had Jerry Jones say that he would match us some NIL. We have the Waldens at Walmart who are everywhere. You have Tyson's Chicken, which I think he's more basketball. I think that
you have the Georges, you
have everybody.
JB Hunt, you have the Lindsays. I know the Lindsays and the Tysons were big on wanting Gus Malzahn for years. That never happened, but that's why we're getting the Rhett Lashley traction, because of the coaching tree stuff with Gus Malzahn. That Rhett Lashley is getting the traction that he's getting because he's from here.
Yeah.
I think if he was not from here, I don't know how deep that would go. I'll say it again. John Summerall is my number one pick for this job. Love that guy. I think it would take a split second for everybody to go, give this man my money, and let him go build just a bunch of dogs, bunch of monsters. I wouldn't be upset with with Alex Golish from South Florida. It's come out that his wife is from Greenwood, Arkansas, and still travels here once a month for work. Born in the Soviet Union. I watched South Florida play a bunch of dogs, and he's the offensive equivalent to what Summerall is. He was offensive coordinator for Heupel at Tennessee before he took a head coaching job. I'd be okay with that. Dan Mullen's not going to make me upset. Dan Mullen has been a head coach from a very young age. He's only 53. Like that dude's got a good 10, 15 years left in him coaching somewhere. But the main thing is, regardless of whoever it is, you got to get behind them.
Yeah.
You got to get behind them.
That was my question. Do you think that they still get behind him even with Hunter Yurachek, or do you think he has to move on too for this to be?
Yurachek knows his back's up against the wall.
Right.
And I think I heard, like, the press conference that he had with Petrino last week after they made the decision. There were a lot of people that clipped the end of that press conference where he said that Sam Pittman was not given enough money to be successful here. And there were a lot of people who clipped the end of that and said, oh, okay, so we're broke. That's not what he was saying. Because before that, he made it clear that he's been told by the people in charge that it's time to invest heavy in football.
Yeah.
So whoever it is, when the plan's laid out, we'll see. We're in a position to be competitive anywhere. Then follows it up with somebody, rightfully so, asked the question, do you think Sam Pittman was given the money that he needed to succeed here? And he said no. So that was kind of his way of taking a shot at the big money guys, where it was like, oh, well, I took it as they're in it now, but they weren't in it before.
Yeah.
Now, was that smart? on his part, from a career standpoint, maybe not, because now you've ruffled him by doing that. Hunter gets in his own way a lot.
Yeah.
We have problems understanding where Hunter's coming from anytime they put a microphone in his face. It feels like he has to explain a lot of the shit that he says, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to explain everything that you say. Now, to be fair, I have no problem with him saying coach didn't have enough money to succeed here and taking a shot at these frankly lazy boosters who say they want a good football program, but then do nothing to help it. I don't know where you go with Hunter Yurachek. Since those comments at the touchdown club, I have not known what you do. As long as he's saying the right thing behind closed doors and we end up with a competitive event, I guess I'm good with it. I have to wonder how much input he actually has on this hire. Or if it's just the big money guys back channeling, finding their guy. I have to wonder just how much influence he has. Nobody really knows. I don't know that he's out of the woods yet. I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion that he's our athletic director when this hire's made.
I want him out. And I want the best, most enthusiastic Arkansas football coach with his words and his passion to lead us in one Houston nut. I don't want him to do anything with the field. I just want him to be the athletic director, because I think when you lead, I think for Yurachek, he's so sporadic, and I can't, as a fan, connect with him.
No.
I can't get behind nothing you say. You always fumble what you're trying to say, and it sounds bad. You throw people under the bus quickly. You do stuff sporadically that makes no sense. Basketball to Musselman. He did it to football just a couple of weeks ago at the touchdown club. We're not competitive to win. We're not going to win. Like, in the middle of a season, we don't say that. You either say that after the season that we had or way before. You do not say it in the middle of a season that your team is trash.
Oh, it was bad.
You can't do that. I cannot connect with Yurachek. I don't think anybody can, and we're sick of it. Now, if you go get a splash hire and this guy saves your job, that's the way you got to look at it, is if I can go get the best guy out there I can get, this will save my job. But then again, he might not. He might be wanting to go to the SEC and stay away from the athletic department and just do SEC whatever in the backgrounds. But I think you got to have somebody that the fans connect with, that their passion matches up. A person like a Sam Pittman, like the vibe.
Yeah, let's just say you need another Frank Broyles.
Yes.
But those don't grow on trees.
I think that's Houston nut. And people can, whatever, I'm tired. I don't want him touching the nothing but the athletic department, because
that's what I worry about. Houston's ego. He's got one. He's got one. I worry about it. I really do.
I don't want the coach. I just want the spirit, the enthusiasm. He had, it don't matter who we were playing that week. He had his team ready to run through a brick wall. Like, that's what I want as an athletic director, because then it spreads throughout the entire athletic department, not just one sport or the other.
Yeah. I worry about his ego. But, I mean, I could certainly understand wanting to move on from the current stuff.
For sure.
Because I was of the belief that when he made those comments at the touchdown club, he'd be fired the next day.
Yeah.
It felt like career suicide to me. He had to go back and clarify what he meant. Well, Hunter, here's the thing. You shouldn't have to go back and clarify what you say.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, like, you've got to have more sense than that. I think that it's inevitable that it will happen in the near future. I don't think he's long for this job. I think he will conveniently go somewhere else or just outright be axed. That's just my gut feeling.
We do have a game this week. Well, Arkansas does travel to number 12, 4-1 Tennessee. Spread's 12.5. I'm not sure where they're getting it from. We can't stop a nosebleed. Tennessee scores $1 million a game.
Yeah, take it. Take the 12.5.
Tennessee did just give up quite a bit to Mississippi State, but that was on the road.
Look, the SEC's drunk this year. We're not going to sit here and try to act like it's not.
Yeah.
Alabama has come back down to earth. Now, they're very good, and I think it's time to stop throwing dirt on Kellen DeBoer. He's a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
Going into Athens and winning the way that they did was so impressive to me. With Alabama being a great team and not that superpower that they were, I think the rest of the league's kind of come down with them. The SEC hasn't been world beaters. They've just been top heavy for a long time.
Yeah.
And now it's not, this league's wide open. Anything can happen any week. I think this is too much.
Yeah. I don't know how much you can't really invest in this game. I'm excited to watch the game just to see a Bobby Petrino led team, to see if this team, what I did like, once you fire your coach, there's a 30-day period where you can enter the transfer portal. No one entered. Now, here's the thing.
You want to know why? Because they suck.
No one entered. So you can look at it two ways, whatever side of the coin you want to look at. One side, it's because Bobby Petrino's back and he's got these guys fired up and they want to fight for him. The other side, no one wanted them.
Well, Bobby told him in a team meeting, he said there's no benefit to getting into the transfer portal right now. You're not going to be able to go somewhere and play right away that you haven't been. You don't have anything on tape that anybody's going to want to see anyway,
right.
Particularly on the defensive side, because this crazy bastard got the job and said, I want this job full time. And in order for me to have a chance to have the job full time, I got to get rid of all the dead weight on this staff. First thing he did, he went Mad King, Game of Thrones, and went chopping heads off the next morning. You get Travis Williams, Deke Adams, Marcus Woodson all out the next morning. And he actually went out onto the street and hired a longtime NFL assistant as your D-line coach to just come in and teach technique. Like this is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this, where it's you hire a coach for the interim, and the first thing he does is just go axe half his staff. It's definite lunatic energy.
Yeah,
old school Bobby P energy.
Right.
For
so
sure.
I want to see what happens, but I have no faith right now in this team being able to even be competitive. But I hope, because this happens every year. I don't care the situation. We win a game we're not supposed to.
Right.
Last year, it was this game. It was at home. There's a game on this schedule that Bobby's going to win, and everybody's going to start to flip. Bobby, baby, let's get Bobby. He beat so-and-so.
Don't let it fool you.
Don't fall for that yet. But I'm telling you, I don't think it's this week because it's on the road. We play better on the road.
Yeah, that's been a Sam Pittman thing that needs to be fixed.
We suck at home.
And it will be, because the last time Arkansas won all their home games on the schedule, the man who's fixed to be the coach was the coach. But I'll tell you, you say you're looking forward to this game. I'll tell you what's going to be a fever dream for me is a couple of weeks from now when they come and play A&M in Fayetteville, and it's the first home game where they're introduced as Bobby Petrino's Arkansas Razorbacks again. That's wild to me. It feels like Back to the Future. But I'm also a guy that understands this hire of Bobby Petrino as the offensive coordinator 2 years ago was made to give them an excuse to not fire Sam Pittman. It was a gimmick.
Yeah.
This whole thing has been a gimmick. He's not the long-term answer. He's just not.
Yeah.
And you know what? If 3 years from now we've won 30 games and he's the head coach, I'll come on here and I'll say I'm a blibbering idiot. But just common sense says he's not the long-term answer.
Yeah. Prediction this weekend?
Tennessee by 100.
I'm going to say Tennessee's going to, handle their business as they should. Any final thoughts on this entire Arkansas Razorback situation?
No, I mean, I think we're in a really good spot, but you cannot screw this hire up.
Yeah.
You just can't. The fan base is not going to be fully united on whoever you hire at first, no matter who it is. You need to hire a guy that's going to eventually get the entire fan base behind them.
Yeah. And it starts with the boosters fully behind him as well.
Yeah. I need a war chest. We need somebody to go, here's a bunch of gold, go out and get you something. I've said for years, they're going to get tired of football bringing up the hind tit because Arkansas competes for a national championship in the other two major sports year in and year out. With Cal, you're going to compete in basketball. With DVH, you're going to and have competed in baseball. The bottom line is, no matter how much success you have in those other sports, you would give up all of that. You would give up all of that. And you may disagree with me, but I think you're a liar. You'd give up all that to have a consistent winner in football. You just would. This is a football state. Don't let anybody tell you it's any different. If you knew that you'd be Alabama, you'd give all that up to be competitive in football. Because how much fun would it be to be on the top of the biggest sport in the world? College football's king. Don't screw this up.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, guys, 3 things to live by. Number 1, give me Gruden or give me death. Number 2, if we can't get Gruden, give me
John Summerall.
Yeah. And 3, and most importantly, never, ever, ever trust a fart. Until next time, guys.
We'll see you later.